So in this video, I will teach you how I make Aeropress. The important thing to know is that there are three factors with coffee that are important, at least with Aeropress. The things that'll change the way the coffee tastes are the temperature, the grind, and the extraction time. So the finer the grind, the more bitter and over extracted it would be, or more extracted you get. The hotter the temperature, the more it'll extract, and then the longer the extraction time, the more it'll extract. So for Aeropress, I pretty much keep my grind always the same. It's hard to describe necessarily, but I don't know, kind of coarse, kind of not. And the things that I generally will change will be the temperature and the extraction time. So if it tastes bitter, you know that it was either too hot or extracted too long. So the main one that I'll change, honestly, is just the temperature, because that usually works for most of my coffees. So I've got some grinds. I've got water boiled to 194 degrees Fahrenheit. I guess right now it's actually 193 at this moment, but in general, it's 194. That's kind of like the lower end of what you would want to extract coffee at. I like to use the inverted Aeropress method. So essentially the first step is to assemble the Aeropress and then put your grinds in it.
And how many grams did you do there?
18 grams. Thank you, Assistant Nadia. This is 18 grams of coffee, which is a standard specialty coffee dose. And then with my 194 degree water, I'm going to start the timer. And it's counting up while I'm filling it. Usually what I do is I aim to start the press at the 1 minute mark and then press it over the course of a minute. So it's usually about a 2-minute extraction, which is kind of long, which is why I usually am doing a lower temperature. The hottest I usually do coffee at is like 93 Celsius, but I know a lot of people do like 95, I think. So, so what I did is I filled it almost to the top with water, then I gave it a stir, and then I'm gonna fill it all the way to the top with water. And meanwhile, I rinsed my mug because I don't generally actually clean my mug between batches. And then I'm going to put my filter in the little cap, screw it on. I'll pour out my rinse water, very pretty used sink, and then flip the Aeropress onto the cup and leave it until around the 1 minute mark, or 1 minute and 10 seconds, something like that. And then, as I said, press it over the course of a minute. So if I make this coffee and it tastes too bitter to me, what I would probably change the next time around would be I would lower the temperature or like a couple degrees Celsius, a few degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So just pressing with moderate pressure, I just kind of have my forearm on top of my hand and lean into it a little bit. If you press too hard or you try to press it over a shorter period of time, with these metal ultra-fine filters, so you can see I'm actually pretty far for the time, so I'm going to slow down a bit. With the metal filters, sometimes the water will have an easier time going around the filter than it will going through the filter, and then that'll press like a lot of fines around it, which are like really small coffee particles that make your coffee taste bitter. So that's why I like to leave a 1 minute press time to ensure that the water actually goes through the filter. A lot of people press over the course of like 30 seconds, but I think that's mostly people who are using the default Aeropress paper filters. So press until you hear the hiss and stop. You can also stop beforehand. That's an easy way to cut out bitterness too, is stop when you don't yet hear the hiss. So what I did after pressing, I pulled the plunger backwards a little bit while it was still upside down to just kind of pull some air in. And then I just unscrew the lid and press the grounds into the sink and wash them through the sink, and I'll wash all that. It doesn't really need to be on video, the washing. Then I give the coffee a stir, and it's ready for Nadia to drink. That's all there is.